Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
You know, after a rough week, it's been a fantastic couple days. Lazy Dog, I'm sorry, there's a wonderful restaurant close by here. I'm part of their beer club, and they had an arcade theme set of beers, which I was very happy about. We got this It's On beer, looking like Donkey Kong, so it's like Donkey Kong. And I bought a beer that I was going to bring, but I forgot it in a fridge somewhere else, so but it was a Iron Maiden beer that I was really hoping to bring on the show. Got my wonderful new Clerks jersey. God of War Ragnarok came out, and I'm feeling really good about our bet about the Raiders versus the Niners right now. So it's been a great couple days. Ozzy, how are you doing, sir?
You know what? I remember, like, when that trade happened with Christian McCaffrey, and like that Sunday or whenever we recorded following that incident, I explained there could be a situation where the 49ers could destroy the Raiders, but Christian McCaffrey might not get the necessary points needed from a kind of studly player in that spot. And I just saw evidence of that possibility coming to fruition tonight. But then I just remember that they're the Raiders. I mean, come on, like, everybody will score on them. Come on now. I mean, I've lost all faith in the Raiders this season. This is why I always have a backup team. I think it's more than fair that if you have a team like Greg, you have the Niners, but I think it's totally fair that you can pick a team within the other conference as a backup. So in case, like, you know, the owner hires a coach that is just blowing up the team because they're brats and just want their own players that they want, not willing to work with whatever they want. And they learned their mistake last time by not publicly saying, oh, I don't want this quarterback, i.e. I don't want Jay Cutler. So I'm just going to be quiet about it this time. Asshole. Anyway, so my number 2 team, thankfully, has always been the Philadelphia Eagles.
So is that your playoff team?
Fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point. But at the same time, I had a friend of mine who's a Cowboys fan, and he says, if you're a Raiders fan and an Eagles fan, I think you're just angry all the time. Because he's a Cowboys fan. He says, Eagles fans are like East Coast Raider fans. And I was like, well, then it fits. So yeah. There we go. All right. Third voice you heard. Also, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd? You don't watch sports, so you must be in a good mood.
I watched like 12 hours of wrestling yesterday. So
no. But I was talking about sports, not like, you know,
sports entertainment.
Playing with toys. Toy expedition.
Weren't you just talking about your wrestling announcer? I hear there's a promotion that needs a new announcer, but
why are we doing this? Now
I forgot we were still doing intros.
Listen, I thought we got a little sidetracked. I apologize that I got my emotions.
Sorry, Ozzy talked about the Raiders for 10 minutes.
Not even 10 minutes. It hasn't even been 4.5 minutes yet. But before we just jump in, I will lastly say that I do have an announcement regarding a wrestling show and something else that I'll reveal towards the end of this program today. But right now, I want to jump into it. This week, we are reviewing and discussing the film Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which was a Roku Pictures original. Todd, do you have a trailer available? And did I say that correctly? Is that a Roku original picture?
Yeah, and I just blew the spot. All right, yes. Here we go. Let's try that again.
Put it in. I'm tired of people thinking I'm some kind of joke.
Your dad and I agreed it will be best if you just stop being who you are and doing the things you love.
My whole life, all I wanted.
I'm afraid we found your son at a polka party.
Just to make up new words to a song that already exists.
Oh. Well, you should do that then.
Who my little hungry one? Hungry one. Open up a package of my banana.
Dude, I've got chills.
Every once in a great while, I can spot a talent that I know is the future of music. But first, we gotta find you a stage name. Al Yankovic. It's long, it's hard to pronounce. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. Weird Al Yankovic.
I love it.
Weird Al has taken the world by storm.
Do I know you?
Madonna, I was wondering if you were going to do a parody of my song, Like a Virgin.
I'm curious, is that song autobiographical?
Yes. Except for the fact that I've had a lot of sex.
Name one creative genius that doesn't have a checkered past involving alcohol
That's the medicine.
and drugs.
I think Madonna's a bad influence on you. What? No offense.
I'm a train wreck. My parents wrote me off. I pushed away my band.
You're all just a bunch of normals. I'm the weird one. You gotta take care of yourself. I saw in you something special. An artist who has something to give to the world.
In front of all the billions of people watching around the world right now, all I want to say is be as weird as you want to be. You will never find true happiness, so you can truly accept who you are. Thank you.
Oh, Al, you can't smoke in here.
I totally deserve that.
That was the trailer for Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which was released on November 4th this past year, 2022. Rated TV-14 with a runtime of 1 hour and 47 minutes. Written by Weird Al Yankovic and Eric Appel. Directed by Eric Appel. Starring Daniel Radcliffe as the title character. Featuring Diedrich Bader as the narrator. Which, just to jump into the initial thoughts here, what I found most amusing about that is Diedrich Bader also serves as the voice of Bruce Wayne Batman in the Harley Quinn HBO Max series. So I kept thinking of that humorous Batman, but it still worked because honestly, a strong vibe I was getting from this movie felt like a combination of Walk Hard and The Naked Gun. Where it wasn't as long as Walk Hard, but still had that kind of like old school blatant parody humor. And I guess the reason why I brought up Walk Hard is because last time I really felt that kind of humor, and also because it's also about like a parodying a music biopic. It came out actually about 20 years ago, which is weird.
Wow.
Saying that. Yeah.
That's rough.
Because I thought about it's like, hey, I'm watching this, but like Walk Hard just like came out, and I thought about it, I was like 2002, 2003, 2004, like around that early 2000s range. But still, in terms of just like the absolute goofiness of it from the very beginning, especially like just from the very get-go, you knew that you were going to be in for a pleasant ride. I feel. Greg?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I tried to not know much about this going in. I'd seen a couple of moments where he went on late night shows and such, and that's about all I'd heard. So a lot of it was a great surprise. But I think the best way to describe this movie is it really is a Weird Al song in movie format. Like every bit of the humor really feels genuine. To have a movie like this that's so crazy, just that trailer alone shows Al drinking, Al going crazy, and all this stuff. but Al's like notoriously got no drama in his life, you know, which is brilliant. This movie was a roller coaster of fun. And I'm so glad we get to talk more about it. And I just want to say I have a Weird Al story. I don't know if I've told it on any of the shows before, but there's a theme park close by. At the time it was Paramount's Great America. And we had a concert venue in which Al was performing, and I was working as part of the concert crew. And this girl comes up to me and she goes, and it's, you know, before the show and such, but, you know, theater's loading and everything. And she goes, "Hey, I'm Al's niece," or some relative, I forget at this point. And he said to talk to somebody and then I could get back there. And so I was like, well, let me go check in. I walked back. I talked to one of his, you know, security or whatever. And I was like, yeah, he's got a relative that's out here, like niece something, you know. And then security walks back, talks to him, and he comes busting out the door. And he's like, "Who said I have a relative out here and is disturbing me? I'm trying to get ready for my show. Like, why is it that people are disturbing me? Like, this is my time." And I was like, I'm so sorry. The person said, "I'm just relaying the message. I apologize." He goes, "Yeah, that's totally my niece. Come on by. Have a sandwich with us." He's such a good dude, man. So,
wow.
But yeah. So this is a great movie.
That's hilarious.
It's only fitting that the biopic of Weird Al is a parody movie of a biopic. I mean,
right.
I don't know any other way you can do it. And I don't know if you guys are aware, this started its life about 9 years ago, so only 11 after Walk Hard, as a Funny or Die mock trailer, which is almost the exact same storyline with Aaron Paul in the Weird Al role. So
interesting.
Yeah, if you go back, I had actually only seen it like once, and I completely forgot about it. And if you go back and watch it now, it's actually kind of funny because you see all the beats that they hit. And the director of the actual film was the one who did the Funny or Die short and the Eric appeal.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, going into the favorite moments, I think it's. I think, at least for me, I have a pretty good idea as to. There's kind of a unanimous, hilarious moment that if it's not at the top of all our lists, it has to be at least in the top 3. So I'm just going to leave that one out and then revisit it. And then, because just in case maybe one of you guys say it as one of your top ones.
Okay.
So in terms of definitely the guacamole. Everything relating to the guacamole, how it happened, like presentation of it, like that sold it for me. That came to my my uncontrollable laughter moment, and I was in tears. Of course, also at that other moment, but I want to see if you guys have that on either of your lists. Greg?
So there were so many amazing moments from this movie. Like, it was hard to pick. So I am going to have to go with one that caught me off guard and ended up being a lot funnier than I expected it to be. The end credits theme song. Jesus, like that was so good because you're like, okay, movie's over. Let's relax. That was a lot of fun, good times. And you're hearing the song. You're like, I haven't heard this before. This is different. Oh, this is funny. And then like it goes, and I don't want to say too much of it, but like it is one of the funniest songs for what it is, and definitely a highlight of this movie.
As soon as I realized what the lyrics were, I went back, listened to the whole thing again. But that is definitely, for the first time, you're actually going to want to watch the credits, not because there's a scene at the very end, and there's
Right.
not, but there's still plenty of entertainment to be had during those credits.
I'm going to pick a weird one for different reasons because I'm leaving the one on the table because Ozzy's going to probably say it next.
I already said mine.
I know, but you have that one that's going to be
that I'm assuming is on all our lists,
and I'm sure it's the same one I'm thinking. So I'm going to let that one lie because I want to talk about this one. Now, the whole bit about him making Eat It before Beat It and it being a parody, and him saying, only, people are gonna, get it backwards. I'm gonna tell you this. I was talking to my cousin and he thought it was real and Eat It became before Beat It. I couldn't stop laughing. So you see why this elevated this scene, right? And he's like, I'm glad you told me that before I started telling people.
And what's funny is I thought originally like they were just doing that to not name that name. If I don't know if they had this weird thing about Michael Jackson, they were just trying to avoid that for some reason, but yeah, then when they full on brought up his name, I was like, well, that's it, just a great joke.
I'm sure that they thought, wouldn't it be funny if like there was one song that we said was completely, and goes off that rabbit hole.
I have a question. Okay,
Yes.
Well, you're both California people, because a lot of like Dr. Demento, was he nationwide? Was he syndicated everywhere? I don't know if that's a local joke.
I'm not sure. I do know that Dr. Demento was an actual radio DJ.
No, I know. I used to listen to Dr. Demento.
But I'm presuming that it is most likely a regional thing, because back in the day it was only regional radio shows.
There was still syndicated shows back then.
Not like,
because Wolfman Jack, who is also in the movie,
right?
show was syndicated.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I thought that was actually Wolfman Jack for a second because he sounded so much like him. I'm not going to spoil who it actually was, but I really thought, Jesus Christ, that sounds exactly like him.
And then that actual whole scene with all the different characters of that era.
100%.
There was one thing that was bothering me. I'm just going to name one of the people who was there, Elvira.
Yeah.
Her the way that the V met was like at an angle.
Okay.
Like, so I was, and I don't know why.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, but you would.
Elvira's the reason I love. I mean,
I understand that, but I mean, like,
boobs.
No.
Made myself work.
What I had written down that I believe was probably when I saw this scene happen and the gag happened, and it took like there was like a delay, like a 10-second delay, and then it hit me the second part of the joke, I guess, and then I saw it back. But without spoiling anything, it was when Al was asking Dr. Demento if he would be his mentor. Or he's saying, are you saying that you want to be my mentor? And that response was that made me think like Fourth Wall, Naked Gun, Airplane, like, bravo. Because it reminded me of like the Airplane gag with Jim never drinks a second cup of coffee at home, because that was supposed to be a parody of a commercial at the time, right? So it's one of those, if you're familiar and you're paying attention, it's very funny. But one thing that I really did appreciate because this actually happens in musical biopics or whatever, when you see the artist getting the inspiration for a song. If you're familiar with the library of Weird Al, when these songs start to happen, it's like when these small things begin to happen, you start to get excited a little bit and you know where it's going to go. It says, hey, can I use some of your bologna?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you get excited. This movie, I think, not only as a comedy, but as like just a film in general, I had a lot of fun with. And to be completely honest, as I was watching the trailer just now, I just saw it last night, but I want to see it again, like right now. Like that's a movie. Like there's a lot of stuff in there that I feel that can be easily missed. You have cameos going every scene, it feels like, or every other scene, especially Weird Al himself as a record exec. That was
that bit
my
was so good.
God, that's fantastic.
Okay, that's enough. We're don't need to lay in so hard.
I did confirm Dr. Demento was nationally syndicated from 74 to 92.
Okay, there you go.
So,
and in the film, Dr. Demento played by Rainn Wilson.
I don't believe that's his name anymore.
It's not Rainn Wilson.
No, he actually changed his name recently.
Okay.
To Dwight Schrute.
No. His new name is Rainfall Heatwave Extreme Winter Wilson. Make a comment about climate change.
Yikes. Well,
was it on the poster for this one?
you know what? Also, one other thing before we get into the ratings, his father, Al's father, actor Toby Huss.
Yes,
he looked familiar to me, right? And I couldn't pinpoint where. Like, it wasn't like another movie. I swear it's like I saw him on a TV show. He was Charlie, the limo driver, on the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode of The Freak Book.
Okay. Makes sense. He was also on Seinfeld, so
there you go. Now, let's get into the ratings here. I mean, if it isn't obvious, it is an absolute 5 for me. This is a fantastic movie. Like, not even, I'm like, aside from being a comedy, I think it's a great, this is just a fun movie.
Yeah.
And if you have to put this on your list, like the next opportunity you get, I would love to have a conversation with an individual who would hate this movie, because I just want to, like,
we'll see what Dan says.
I'd want to ask all sorts of questions. Well, the main character is a male, so I don't think he'll have any issues with it.
Yeah, but there's the Madonna stuff. See, I was right.
Which, by the way, I didn't even notice Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna, because I'm so used to hearing or seeing her as a Claire from Westworld.
Right.
But she nails it.
Yes,
absolutely. It took me a minute to realize it was her. I knew she was in it.
Didn't know until the credits.
Oh, that far. Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic job. So
impressive.
Obviously 5 from me. See it next chance you get. This has got to be on everybody's list.
And you can see it for free right now.
Yeah. So, like, one of the things is when there's a movie that's written that is so good that this, like, amazing, incredible cast, like, of extras come in, you know, like when you have this many wonderfully hilarious people in a movie, especially one done by Roku, so you know they're probably not getting paid a lot. Like, you know, this has to be a great film, and they're doing this because it's fun. It's with a lot of great people, and when people have fun, it makes a great movie. And I think that's why I'm attracted to the Kevin Smith films is you know, everyone on that set was having a good time except Bruce Willis. So, like, this movie, hands down, was a 5. And on top of the fact that, as ridiculous as this is, one of the things Al said is, when you're watching this, some of the things that seem ridiculous are actual truths. Like the traveling accordion salesman, the door-to-door accordion salesman. That is how he got his first accordion. Recording his first song in a men's bathroom. That's how he recorded that song. So
it was of his college, not the bus station. That was the only difference.
Right. So it's just,
and there's actually a plaque outside the bathroom now.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. But yeah, 5. Hands down. 5 all the way.
Well,
no way.
Yeah,
it's a ruse.
It is.
I was going to reach through the screen and punch you right in the face.
I kind of wish we would have done UHF first. Now we got.
I was thinking that, like, as we're watching it, like, we really should have, but there's a lot of, you know, what we're eventually getting to it. It's on the list for sure.
The way it ended, I love that too. Shocker. The photo montage is in the credits. That's awesome too.
Yes.
100%. So, Todd, you said it's available for free right now. Remember, anybody could just
watch it on Roku, the Roku channel. And you don't have to have a Roku to watch it. You can download the Roku channel on Apple, on Amazon,
wherever you download your favorite apps.
Yep.
Download the Roku channel, watch this movie, and then watch it again. And also, as mentioned earlier, if you have any previous knowledge of any Weird Al songs, you'll get excited when you start to see the things converge, if you will. So anything else on this fantastic film before we head out for the evening?
No.
just go watch it. as
Yeah.
soon as possible.
Yeah.
So
And
watch
you
it
don't even
now.
need
There's
to go
nothing more that can
anywhere.
be said.
You don't even need to go anywhere. Just stay
Yeah.
wherever you are and watch it right now. as
I
soon as
wish
Even
I
if
got
you're
to
like
see it
in
in
your
a theater.
car in the middle of the road, stop your car, turn the car off, just watch it. And when a cop comes by and asks you about it, just it's weird. It's the and they'll be like, all right, we're good.
Yes. Well, priority.
Yeah.
Priority over, I think, over everything right now. If you haven't seen like Bullet Train, if you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, this is over those.
Wow, you put
Yeah,
it
and
over
that's
Maverick.
that-
Wow.
Well, no. I put it above Maverick in the terms of if you haven't seen Maverick, Bullet Train, or Weird, put Weird at number 1.
So which is the best out of those three, Hazy?
Well, they're technically different movies, but I'm saying if somebody
Well,
has
every movie's technically a
I
different
know.
movie, Ozzy.
So
but
that's
they're
like,
different
I like
genres.
all.
Listen, the only thing I'm saying is that to someone who's like hasn't seen Maverick, hasn't seen Bullet Train, and who hasn't seen Weird, Weird might be the attractive option because you could just tell them it's just a dumb comedy, and then they're entertained the entire time. I've known people that tried to watch Maverick after like a long day of work, and then they got tired and they fell asleep through 20 minutes of it.
Or
So
some people go see Bullet Train 5 times at a theater and fall asleep.
okay, I was really tired, all right? And I still saw the parts, all the necessary parts in the movie, so I at least saw it one whole time.
You
in the
combined them all
movie.
together.
Yes, I did. That was the whole point of
Pulp
seeing
Fiction
it.
style. Got it.
Yeah. Well, that was the inspiration of the movie, if you really think about it like that.
Well, it's
was trying
heavily
to emulate.
Tarantino influence for sure.
100%. Which, by the
But-
way, still go watch Bullet Train, even though we can't review it because it's more action than comedy. All right. Now
Ozzy with all his rules. Ozzy, we can do whatever we want.
I just don't think like we can't have a show called Flesh Wound Farce where
One
we
week
review
we'll-
Bullet Train. Like
one week,
the action.
1 week we'll take it
comedy.
off and we'll have Flesh Wound Punch, and you could do Die Hard.
Flesh Wound Punch. If I would not mind doing a Flesh Wound action series, but that is not a discussion for right now. For right now, it is time to say goodnight and also to inform a couple of informational announcements. Informational announcements. That sounds very strange, unnecessary. But what is necessary is for me to tell you that this Saturday, November 19th, I'll be announcing for House of Warrior Wrestling. It'll be taking place on 12222 Philadelphia Street in Whittier, California. You can get your tickets online. Go ahead to the Facebook page for House of Warrior Wrestling for more information. Again, that's Saturday, November 19th with a bell time of 5 p.m. And also, some more information that's also kind of fun is that I will be performing stand-up in a guest spot before Brad Williams next Sunday. Well, actually, that would be this Sunday, November 20th at the Brea Improv. It'll be at 7 p.m. It will be for the Sunday show, as Saturday, obviously, just mentioned, I'll be announcing for House of Warrior Wrestling. But I will be there for stand-up for a little bit at the guest spot for Brad Williams. You can get tickets at bradwilliamscomedy.com or at improv.com. Again, that'll be at the Brea Improv, 7 p.m. Sunday, November 20th. And, of course, we'll be back with a new episode next week. We'll be reviewing and discussing a Thanksgiving comedy from 1993 known as Son-in-Law. Looking forward to that. Hey, guys, anything else before we head out for the evening?
I do want to say one quick note. I'm sorry, it's kind of a downer note, but I do want to give credit to Gallagher being in this movie and watching this shortly after the wonderful comedian had passed away was a great moment to have to remember all the wonderful comedy that man provided and all the wonderful watermelons at his expense.
I'm curious if those watermelons would be seeking revenge in the afterlife.
I wouldn't see why not, but as long as he's got his mallet, he's good.
Indeed. Well, that was a fantastic, stupid way to end this program. We'll be back next week with a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce for Greg, world famous juggler, and Flesh Wound producer Todd. I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.